Welcome to this important masterclass dealing with anxiety, stress, fear, whatever way you want it. It's really, I think, a melody of the day. And very often we just need to see what's gonna help us get over this. So I don't think really, to be honest, the crystals are not the only things that can help us. I'm very practical and realistic and use other things as well. There are other methods, and I'm going to share with you um, using the crystals that I recommend in conjunction with other things as well. And I think part of one of the most important things is recognizing when we have anxiety and what's it about. Okay, so let's begin. I'm going to share my screen and begin. Back. Okay, most of you here know me. I'm Gila Slonim, founded this Jewish school of crystal healing, Baruch Hashem, and I have a lot of nachas and joy and pleasure teaching about the crystals. As you know, if you've been on my webinars or master classes, panels, etc., and if you've met me live, I love sharing about the crystals. It's a big bracha from Hashem. And I do feel that it's like one of the things that I need to be doing is share with everybody this amazing gift that God has given us. He has given us crystals, and I think it's important that we know that they're from Hashem. They do have certain powers, and we should definitely enjoy them. So we have about 1 hour together, and we have I think, lots of material to cover today. So what are we going to be doing? Some of you are going to know this all by heart already, but I like to share the Jewish perspective on crystal healing, even if there's one person here that hasn't heard it before, or people want to review it again, we need to know. I'm not going to go into loads of details, but it's very important to understand that crystals are really Jewish. In order to understand how to deal with anxiety, stress, fear, and worry, I think we need to understand a little bit more about their definitions. So I'm going to go into that a little bit. Obviously, I'm going to share with you the crystals, some of the Avnei HaHoshen that are included there, and we have a masterclass special offer. So welcome, everybody. I am zoche to really travel to lots of different places in the world. Whether you believe this? Murphy's Law, guys, that the phone has to go. Okay, now it won't disturb us. Okay, to share about the crystals. So when people say, "Are you prepared to go further? Am I prepared to do this?" Yes, I am. I mean, at a reasonable level, because I do feel that I really want the world to be aware of what's going on. Okay, now. Hang fire, because at the end I will have a special masterclass offer. And here we go. The first time that we encounter the Avnei HaHoshen is in Parshat Shmot, which once we've started Bereshit, we're getting closer to Shmot now. We've started again, okay, after the Chagim. And there, Hashem tells Moshe how to deal with all the garments and the Mishkan, he also talks about the Choshen, the garments of the Kohen Gadol, the garments of the Kohen, and the Kohen Gadol has a special garment called the Choshen Mishpat. And on this Choshen Mishpat are 12 stones. And here we meet these 12 stones, and each stone represents one of the 12 tribes. And it's very specific how they are going to be placed, which stone goes where and how. Okay. So we don't need to go into it, but you can see it here. Here you have a little picture, a diagram of the 12 of Avnei HaHoshen. And please God, I'm coming to America. I'll be there next week in New York. And when I'm there, I'm going to actually have charts that I will be selling with pictures and names of each of the Avnei HaHoshen on them and a little bit about them. I think it's really handy. People have asked me to do it because I keep on looking to see that. So I said, okay, it's time to print something up for everybody. So Bezrat Hashem, I will have it laminated, not an expensive thing, just a great tool for everybody. Okay, and we have here Rabbeinu Bechaye talks a lot about the Avnei HaHoshen. Okay, in Parshat Shmot, he really, you'll see if you look at his Perush, his commentary, you'll see he wrote a lot. And one of the things he says is, Ein lecha kol even ve'even min ha'avanim ha'yakarot shelo timshoch koach min ha'elyonim. There is no stone from among the precious stones which will not bring down energy from above. So here we have an understanding that the stones, precious stones, bring down energy from above. We are also told, he also says, Kol ha'avanim hayekarot, all of the precious stones are none other, are all derivatives of the 12 Avnei HaHoshen. Okay? Now, we are told in the Gemara that a woman on Shabbat, she can go out carrying the Even Tkuma in order to prevent her from having a miscarriage. Okay, so we don't need to deal with the issue of Shabbat and Tchumim and Eruv. That's not our issue. But what we find amazing is that they were using the crystals at the time of the Gemara. And they understood that if a woman carries the Even Tkuma, it is beneficial and helpful for her in order to prevent miscarriage. Okay? And I must say, I agree with them. Baruch Hashem. We really find that that's the case. Many women have called me, women are in touch with me. Gila, do you have the Even Tkuma? I need an Even Tkuma, or whatever it may be. And we have a set of stones to help women when they're pregnant. So that is an amazing thing to have this verification in the Gemara that crystals were actually used. Okay, let's move on to our main topic of anxiety, stress, and fear. Okay, anxiety is really about what might happen. What happens to us is we think about what could happen, and then what happens? Our body goes into a state as if it actually is happening, and that is anxiety. Okay, stress is about something that's happening now. Maybe it's really legitimate, but the anxiety, if I'm getting anxious and I'm getting stressed and concerned because it's midnight and I told my daughter to be home at midnight 05 and I told my daughter to be home at midnight and I'm thinking about all different things that could happen and then my body goes into fear and panic and have heart palpitations or whatever it may be. That's anxiety. It's something that hasn't happened. She's fine. She happens to be chatting outside and her watch stopped working. All is well. Okay, but with the stress, that's happening now, and the body is responding. Sometimes gives us motivation. Okay, don't we know that when we're stressed and we have to reach the deadline, we may make it, and other times it may be overwhelming. Okay, and once the situation's resolved, that is over. And fear is something that's happening to us, okay? God forbid a car swerves near somebody and you get scared, and then you have, then you have the natural responses that you should have in order to get out of a dangerous situation, okay? So the fear will activate the fight or flight. Okay, so the fear is the body, the heart racing, the tense muscle. The worry, okay, worry is also there. That's going on in our mind, okay? And then the anxiety has it all, okay? It's mental, physical, all of those things combined together, making us feel not terrific, okay? So, how do we prevent anxiety? We cultivate calm and resilience. That's great. Who doesn't want calm and resilience? We all want calm and resilience. Okay, that's something that we all really want. But I'm going to ask you all a question, and you can write the answer in the chat. Okay, when I say the word anxiety to you, I want you to tell me, where do you feel it? Okay, Where do you feel anxiety? Great. Someone said stomach. Next. Everything is legitimate. Chest. Great. Thank you. Also chest. Chest, lots of it. Throat, yes. Stomach, yeah. Jaw, wow. Okay, exactly. We're all very individual. Body, chest, throat. Yes, it moves around. I agree. All over the body. Oi, oi. I know that beforehand when I asked myself that question, it was the stomach. Now it was the chest, and sometimes it's also my head. Okay, so I think that that's important if we can, the back of the head, you're even more specific and you can say where it is. It makes good sense. So I think that it's really interesting to understand that we all experience it differently. And I think awareness is a really important part of dealing with our stress. Okay. Um, Name it to tame it. Okay. Acknowledge that it's there. If it's there, please God, it won't be. But unfortunately, that's it is there very often. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to ground our body. We want to, like, when we're all over the place and we're stressed and what's going to happen, and we've created this scene in our mind, which isn't a reality. It could happen, but what's the chances of it happening? And what's the chances of it not happening? Let's come down to the ground. Let's feel grounded. I want everybody to put their feet on the ground now and feel the ground under their feet. Okay, that in itself is going to help us with our anxiety. Aha, I'm here, I'm now, I'm not all over the place. And these two stones, the bullseye and the desert rose, are great stones for grounding. Okay, and the desert rose is also is helpful for us when we're worrying. It helps us to be more practical because anxiety is not practical. It gives us a certain flexibility in our thought as well. And it's going to calm our head. We need our heads to calm down, okay? Because when the desert rose is telling me that somebody's got so many windows open in their mind and they're thinking and they're worrying about next week and last week and the following week and it's causing so much balagan. Okay, hold the desert rose and help you put the feet on the ground. Be here and now. And so too with the bullseye. Be here and be now and connect to reality in a positive way. It's really important to connect to the reality positively. And the bullseye is also some of us are a little bit more sensitive in life, and we need to have a little bit of a Teflon layer because things affect us. So many things just affect us so easily. So if we can help ourselves by not being affected by so many things so easily, then we're not going to worry as much, not be so concerned. Okay? And I'm going to give you an example from me today. Okay, I told you that I'm traveling. Part of my travel is not for myself personally, it's for the organization of Nachala. Nachala, I'll just tell you, we work towards settling all parts of Eretz Israel, including Yehuda and Shomron, and Be'ezrat Hashem, Gaza as well, which one day we'll do. And we're prepared. We're preparing for it. We've got a temporary site and so many things. So when I'm traveling now to the States, I'm traveling also on behalf of Nachala. And that means that I need to have materials ready, presentations, all sorts of different things. And I don't know how many of you have worked with graphic artists, but and I love them and they're amazing. And I know I've got one here. Okay. But I was feeling really pressured and stressed because the graphic artist is going to be upset because I've added another line here and another thing here, and I want a different picture, not picture. And I stopped myself, really grounded myself to say, stop. I'm not going to wear her stressed. I'm going to pay her money to do her job. and that's fine, okay? And she can't get upset. I'm doing this. I'm the consumer. She's going to do the job. She's wonderful, and I love her dearly. But she can't stress me out, which she was. I was feeling so bad. I'm going to give her something, and she'll have to make a change. No, no, no. And she's going to get upset, and I can picture everything going on. And when I stood back and I said, no need. Okay. And that's because I'm sensitive. Other people like could just keep on making demands and demands and demands and not understand that it's not reasonable to do that to the other person. I can't do that. And to the extreme. So I just felt that that was a relevant example for us today. I've got a lot of relevant examples right now because I am under a lot of pressure. Baruch Hashem, good pressures, but I am. And I might share that a little bit more later. We shall see how we go. Now, another thing, ladies, we want to take slow, steady breaths and inhale to the count of 6 and exhale to the count of 8. And this gives the mind a signal that we are safe. Now, I specifically have said 6 and 8, but it doesn't have to be 6 and 8. It needs to be inhale less, exhale more. And we're going to do 3 of those breaths now. So I'm not going to count because everybody knows their own numbers and how much they can breathe into. Okay, so breathe in and then breathe out, adding an extra 2 counts. Go. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Last one, breathing in and breathing out all the way. The more air you're able to get out, the better it is, okay? I want you to signal to your mind safety. It's okay. I'm calm. Some of us may have issues breathing and want something to help breathe better. And the rhodochrosite is literally a breathing stone. Can you see how this stone looks like lungs? To me, it looks like lungs. Okay. You see, I'm going to see if I can make it bigger. Hang on, I'll move it across. Can you see that? I think that it really has a look of a lung and it's good for our lungs. There's a set of stones for breathing to help people breathe. And I used to have more asthma that was more problematic, and I used this set of stones. It was remarkable, remarkable. Okay, so here we have the rhodochrosite, which which is a stone that tells me again that sensitivity. Oppa, that was quite interesting. There we go. No. Okay, the rhodochrosite is telling me, okay, that there's so much happening that I don't actually have the energy to breathe in completely. So I want you to take the rhodochrosite and breathe in as deeply as you can, and then breathe it all out and a little bit more. It will be very, very helpful. And the turquoise is also, it's a stone that's going to calm our heart and calm our soul, and it's going to help us to breathe better as well. Okay, when things are weighing you down, the turquoise is a beautiful stone to help us breathe better. And when I'm talking about the turquoise, and you asked Sylvia before about buying stones, that is one. There's a stone called howlite, which can be colored blue, right? They put blue dye on it, and that's lovely. A blue dyed howlite is a terrific stone, but it's not a turquoise, it's a howlite. So we have to be careful of that. And in general, I had it, I was in an airport somewhere and I saw these gorgeous turquoise earrings. And as I said before, if it's too good to be true, then it's not true. But it had turquoise earrings. They said they were. And I bought these earrings and I really, really liked them until I realized that they were not real turquoise because when the pattern repeats very consistently, then it's manufactured. Okay, just know that. Here you can see in these turquoises that they're not consistent. Okay, you can see that they're very natural here. You can get better quality turquoise, etc. And turquoise is becoming more and more rare and harder to get hold of, but it's so the ones I used to be able to get hold of easily and at a reasonable price are outrageously expensive if I can get hold of them at all. Now, what we're going to do, we need to work up here as well. Obviously, we have to replace the anxious thoughts that we have. Okay? Something terrible is going to happen. Oi, what am I going to do? Something will happen. Then remember, say, I can handle what happens. I can handle what comes my way. Emunah, belief in Hashem, and we'll get to that shortly, is always going to be helpful for us. Okay, that's very clear. I can handle because if Hashem has given me a certain situation, that means that I could deal with it. I didn't say it was easy, but I can cope with it. Now, the quartz Chalcedony is a stone that limits our negative approach. Okay? Instead of being negative about things, something terrible will happen. It's going to help us to make it a bit easier. I can handle what's going to happen. When you say, I can handle what's going to happen, you are relaxing your system. And I want you to relax your system. I don't want it to be stressed and anxious. So right? Put those sentences in. I want everyone to think of a sentence, a situation. Okay, we all have had situations that are stressful. Okay,
But that's main on Connecticut Avenue. Like that's not going to be.
I think. Okay. Um, so we have, if we have, God forbid, a stressful situation, whatever it may be, think about it. And why is it stressful? Because you think, I'm not going to reach my deadline. It's not going to happen. How I can't get ready. I can't manage this. Change it. So I won't finish everything. It's okay. There will be as many people who turn up. That's who will be, and that's fine. Or I can manage. Okay. I will meet the deadline. Of course I will. I only have A, B, C, and D to do. We've all got those situations. So let's put it into proportion and put in those positive sentences. You know how powerful that is. And if you want to write it down, you write down your sentence and put it into your sleeve. Okay, I'm not joking. That also has power. Okay, so the quartz chalcedony is helping us to reframe, to take away the negative approach, and to get rid of the thoughts that aren't beneficial. Okay, and to help us have more mental balance. Okay, instead of us falling down and getting all stressed and getting upset and feeling really miserable about something, the quartz chalcedony is going to help us. Okay, um now we have this stone which is called, I call it quartz crystal Navi. In English, it's called a seer stone. Seer because can you see the depth of this stone over here? It's got a lot of depth to it, this stone, and so it's called a seer stone. I just prefer the name Navi. Okay, Nevi'im saw into the future. And really, when you hold these stones up, they're just that you feel that there's a whole world sitting there. And this is a stone that helps us to cope with situations. Okay, we all get into situations, all different things, and it's going to help us cope with it. So if you need something to hold on to, then you take your quartz crystal, look into it, see the depth of it, and it will help you to understand. Yes, I can manage with what I've got on my plate. I can manage with what's going on. And I also want to recommend highly the reframe as well. The smoky quartz is definitely, there's actually a set of stones for anxiety, and one of the stones is a smoky quartz because this is a stone that stops negative thoughts. Very often we have this flow of negative thoughts going through our mind. not going to be on time, and then he's going to miss the flight, and then the luggage is going to be too heavy, and then it's not going to happen. It's not going to work, and no, we need to stop that flow. And the smoky will really help us to be positive in our thoughts and to consider it as a challenge, okay? And to make a change in the way we think of things and to try and be more positive in the way we see things. And you know that when we're not worrying all the time, we manage so much better. We have so much more happiness in our life, okay? And so much more hope. So that is definitely something that we would like to strive towards. Now, this is really something distinguish between fact and fear. Ask, is this real danger or a perceived one? Is this a real issue or is it perceived? Am I not going to manage to hand in my assignment at university? Or am I just thinking that that could be the way it is? Okay, what's the truth? I'm concerned. I may not manage to finish it, or I may not do it as well. Okay, okay. But is that a fear? Is that something to put me into stress? Let's be realistic here. Um, so that is really important for us. And look, I know today in particular, when I'm preparing for this evening, I'm preparing for a trip on many levels, and and many different stresses and things. And I was really very anxious. Anxious is the word. And I did take my friend this optical calcite here. Okay, nice sized optical calcite. And I took it in my hand. I rubbed it on my face. It feels so good. It still feels so good. It it gave me clarity. It gave me such calm. Okay, it makes order. And when we're concerned about things, okay, when we are anxious, when we're scared, the optical calcite is very good. The other thing, which we're going to talk about in a minute, is that it increases, it's good for our emunah. And I think emunah is our faith is a very important element for us. It's really something that is going to carry us through so many challenges. Now, I want to say, when we get to it, I'll say, okay, this stone can really release us, help to release us from distress. Now, there are a lot of different ways in which we can use the crystals. And one of the ways is we can put stones into water, into a glass of water. Okay, and then we add to it mineral water. So you take a glass, you can put in a stone in the water. Not all stones go in water. There's a whole Torah as to which stones, but optical calcite is a stone that can go into water. Okay, you could put it into the water, and then after 24 hours, you drink that water. L'chaim, Sherry. As I say, drink the water, she's drinking. That's cool. Okay, and optical calcite can go into water, but optical calcite can also go into our bra. It works very well there. Okay, having an optical calcite at the chest level is very beneficial. Okay, always you can, if you have a pocket there, whatever it may be, it's always helpful to have it on the left side. Okay, to have a stone at the chest on the left side. The other thing that the optical will help us do is to understand reality in a new way or in a different way. So that is really when we understand reality differently, when we're thinking about, when we're stressed, when we're concerned, all of those things, and we can look at things in a different way and say, so what will be? The flyer won't be perfect. She's home 10 minutes late. Nothing happened. Okay? 10 minutes sleep isn't such a big deal, or whatever it may be. It makes a very big difference. So this is really a beautiful stone for that. The reason I'm going on about it is because this was a stone that pulled me out today. Okay, that's what I chose to use today. And I have a dear friend who was in a very difficult situation with a client of hers, and it was the optical calcite that pulled her out of her very stressful situation. The sapphire, which is one of the Avnei HaHoshen, the sapphire is the sapir. Okay, the sapir is the tribe of Yisachar, and this is a stone in general of clarity, thought, and intelligence. And I love the fact that it's a stone of intelligence as well, and a stone of honesty because of truth, honesty because Yisachar sat and learned Torah. So, what better stone of thought and intelligence would we expect him to have? Of course, it's going to be the sapphire. And it's like, it blows me away, when it just all comes together so beautifully from the Torah. It just works in so beautifully. Thank God. This stone is also going to help us organize our thoughts and feelings. Okay? Real? Not real. Do I need to be stressed? Do I need to be anxious? Is something going to happen? Probably not. It also helps to ease stress and despair. Chas v'sholom, if someone has those feelings, the sapphire is a wonderful stone to take. And I'm showing you sapphires. I'm not showing you the grand sapphires that you're going to find in beautiful jewelry. And if you have sapphire jewelry, enjoy it and use it for sure, for sure, for sure. However, we can use the simple and less expensive sapphires as well, as same with the rubies. They don't have to be high quality crystals that are prohibitive. We want to be able to use them, chai bahem, and enjoy them, really to enjoy them. Now we have bitachon, trust in God. We have to know that everything is from Hashem. Okay, and if we are able to understand this, it will bring a certain calmness. It's from Hashem. And now we need to manage, we need to try and cope with the situation, but we don't need to be stressed and anxious beyond. And that bitachon, knowing that Hashem is with us, is so important. Okay, and I think also knowing that we don't understand what may seem to us that is not beneficial and is not good may in fact be good. We know that all that Hashem does is good, so therefore this is good. But we always ask Hashem for the revealed good, obviously, which we want. And I use an example, okay, lahavdil, a baby. We change a baby's nappy or diaper. And what does the baby do? The baby cries. It's cold, it's miserable, it doesn't like being moved around, woken up, all those different things. Are we doing something good for the baby? Of course we are. Okay? So, and the baby doesn't understand that. And if you ask the baby if they wanted to have their nappy, their diaper changed, they would answer no. And so I think there are many times that we would answer no to having our diaper changed as well, so to speak. So just bear that in mind, ladies. Okay, the reason that the optical calcite comes up with the bitachon, with security and faith, emunah. It's a great stone for our emunah. See, I can have all these emunah conversations with you while I'm holding this optical calcite, and Bezrat Hashem, of course, when I'm not holding it as well. And I want to say a comment which is really so valid. I think very often we are good with our emunah and we have faith. We know that it's from Hashem, and we can cope when the situations are big situations. We fall in, we lay back and we fall into Hashem's beautiful arms. He's there for us and He's there to look after us. and we have faith that he's doing the right thing. But it's with the little things that we have to remember that as well. Okay, so if someone, God forbid, goes through a big situation, of course they need emunah, and the emunah kicks in. I mean, we heard it also from the hostages, didn't we? How they were, many of them had so much emunah during this period of time. And one of the guys, you've probably all seen the YouTube, talked about how he felt Hashem with him, literally, and he misses that feeling. So Hashem is with us in the big situations, and he's with us in the little situations as well. Okay, we don't understand. I think that we have to realize that we don't understand, and it's hard for us because, of course, we know best, especially we're women. So, of course, we know best, but maybe not, apparently not. And one of the, I think, the areas that is most challenging, I was talking with a friend today, and she was saying to me, like, and a very believing from woman, and she said the hard part for her is having, sorry, the emunah. She has a single son that he wants to get married, and that's when it's very challenging. It's very, I mean, and situations like that, Hashem has a plan. What can we do about it? We can daven, and that's what we have to do. Of course, we can daven. Okay, and the amethyst, I've chosen the amethyst here because it's a stone of peace. It's a stone of tranquility. It's going to give us that calmness, and we need that calm to know. And it also is it's a very spiritual stone. Yeah, so it belongs here. It helps us to understand things at times at a spiritual level. Okay, it helps us to find a way that's good for us. It's great to get rid of the fear and anxiety, and it helps us as well to focus. And of course, it's very calming as well. But the amethyst, I think, is an emunah stone. So if you want a stone, for me anyway, if I want a stone to take with me to daven, I would take the amethyst. I would actually take the amethyst for the emunah and the spirituality. But I would take with me as well, I would say, the tiger's eye, because the tiger's eye just happens to be sitting on my desk, is great for focus and great for concentration. So I don't know if it happens to anybody else, but to me, sometimes my mind wanders, okay? Particularly when I'm davening and it's like there's a quiet environment, and then my mind goes out for a Sunday tiyul, a Monday tiyul, and everything else. And I want as much as possible to be able to bring it back. So I think that the tiger's eye is one of the stones that's great, and so is the carnelian, by the way. Carnelian that we mentioned before, the Even Tkuma. We talked about the Even Tkuma for a woman who's expecting in order to maintain her pregnancy. But there are many qualities to this Even Tkuma, to the carnelian stone, and one of them is that it helps us to focus and to also to gather ourselves in. Sometimes we're all over the place. It's one of the stones that's going to help us gather ourselves in and be more focused. So we want to daven to Hashem. That's right. When you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling concerned, okay, who else? We have a loving Father who wants to help us, okay? He wants to hear us. How many of us really talk to Hashem? I want to tell you, you talk to Hashem. We may not always see the answers, we may not hear the answers, we may not understand the answers, or we may not like the answers, but He is there and He is listening. And we are able to manifest so many things when we talk to Hashem. I really want to encourage you to have that conversation with Him. Have it in your mind. Hashem, this is how I want my day to look. I don't want to be worried about what's not happening. I don't want to be anxious about this. Okay? And it will be very, very helpful. And knowing that there's someone there who's got your back. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there for you. He has your back. He loves you. You're one of His children. So the aragonite stone is a stone that helps you to helps you with your roots, to strengthen your roots and you want to feel you belong. I'm part of something. I'm part of Hashem's amazing world. I'm part of Hashem. I have a part of Hashem in me. Chelek Eloka mimal, okay, is actually in me. And this aragonite is a stone that helps us to see the different perspectives. Sometimes we only see our perspective. You need to see the other perspective as well to understand, or we don't see it. We need to accept that there are other perspectives as well, that there are other ways. Let's have a, it will help us to have more clarity and more truth. It's not the way we see it necessarily. It's completely different. And I think when we know, tachshov tov, tiyeh tov, think good, it will be good. We've got to work on that. We've got to work on that. And that's why also the sodalite is here. The sodalite is a stone that helps us to express ourselves more clearly, to say what we want in a calm way. So whether you're talking to Hashem or whether you're talking to somebody else, you want to be able to say it in a calm way. Okay, you don't want to present as anxious. And when you say it calm and when you feel more calm, things will drop down. You'll be less anxious. There'll be less of that craziness going on. The other thing I want to go back to the aragonite for a minute is the focus that it gives us, which I mentioned that, don't know about you, but I certainly need help focusing. So yes, it's also on my desk. Okay, I have the aragonite here because it's very beneficial when I'm trying to do so many things to rein me in and to stop me and just to help me from focusing. Okay. I thought it was very interesting that the aragonite talks about parents' patience towards their children. I thought that was a very interesting thing, and I certainly want Hashem to have patience with me. So I said, yes, I'm going to include the aragonite today for sure. So Hashem should have patience with me and help me to focus and not be oversensitive. It's great for us when we're feeling oversensitive. Now, the soda light is also going to be very, very helpful to us when sometimes what happens is we have different things inside of us. And I think we were discussing that in class this week as well, that we have we have issues that we haven't necessarily resolved in our life. They're painful, concerning, whatever it may be. So we can have all these different issues, and the soda light is there to help us try and remove these issues, deal with them, and move on. Okay? And very often when we have issues that are pressing us, remember, it's a little bit like a pressure cooker. We're a bit like a pressure cooker. I am. So many things keep on putting things on and the pressure rises. And we don't want the pressure to rise. So we need to get rid of the old stuff. Okay? When we get rid of that old stuff and we do that cleansing that I believe most of us have, it's going to make a very, very big difference to us. Okay, what I would like to do is to stop this. No, I don't want to do that. I want to stop the share. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask me, Hashem should give me the ability to answer them. Okay, but if you'd like to, then please. Yeah, Sheila.
So I have a question. So when a lot of my stones are in jewelry form, like the rhodochrosite's a ring, big ring. I mean, they're large, but they're all encased in jewelry.
Beautiful.
Can it still work in holding all
Okay,
these stones?
great. It's a great opportunity, your question, Sheila. So first of all, I want to say like this. I want to say that use it and enjoy it. Okay. One of the things that I recommend to everybody is to purify their jewelry. Now, you don't have to do it on a constant basis, but we don't know. First of all, very often we're carrying all sorts of different things, energies, etc., and we may not know where it's come from or what the stone had, what it went through, etc. So I highly recommend you rinse it under cold running water for 2 minutes. So in your kitchen sink, in a little strainer and a little plastic basket, okay, that the water can go through. 2 minutes under cold running water. And while you're running the water, ask Hashem to please give the energy back to the crystals. That with Hashem's strength, with Hashem's, should return the energy to the crystals, and then you place them outside in daylight for 3 hours. Now, it does not have to be sunny. It could be raining, it could be pouring, but they need to be literally outside in daylight for 3 hours. Bring them in and enjoy them. If you're lucky enough to have the jewelry encased in silver or white gold, you're in that's the best. And if it's in yellow gold, then that's okay too. But the white gold is better, or the silver is better for energetic purposes. Okay. Now, there's also a discussion we could have about where and how, like where you use the jewelry, because we have different energy centers. And if we really want it to function for us, then we want to align it as closely as possible to the relevant energy center. So, for example, I have my black tourmaline bracelet on. It's a bracelet. It goes on my hand, and the hand I relate to a lower energy center, because when I stand up, my hand is at the lower part of my body. So therefore, that's a lower energy center, and it's a darker color, so it's beautifully aligned. Okay. Great. Any other questions?
Can I ask something about not anxiety? It's something else?
Yeah.
So I'm having someone who's has an illness, and I'm
yeah,
very
you're having, I didn't hear what you said. You're having
I'm
someone.
having someone come over who has an illness, has the machala, and I'm very sensitive. Like I take on people's stuff. So the question is,
Okay.
what do I take for that? What kind of stones would be good for that?
First, I say two things to my people, to people who we haven't gone, is number one, you need black tourmaline. Okay, it's you must. Black tourmaline bracelet, a nice size piece of black tourmaline on your desk. And that's for anybody who's working or living in a place that has negative energy. And I highly recommend opening the window a little bit, just a fraction. Particularly when you're working with people, the window should definitely be opened just a little bit, okay? Okay, do we have any other questions? Yeah,
Just sharing that today's my birthday.
Mazel
So,
tov.
and I see your black onyx. You're wearing a black onyx on your
Yes.
So that's the month of Cheshvan, right?
Right. That's quite correct. I didn't even put it together that I'm wearing the onyx in Cheshvan. Okay, that's quite funny. But I've been wearing it a lot lately.
Is there something about that to be in sync with the energy of the month? To where
I don't know. I don't really know, but maybe there is. Why not? It would make sense, wouldn't it? You know, Hashem, it's an energetic world that we're living in. Okay, it really, really is. And I heard this amazing story about the Baal Shem Tov. Okay, and the Rebbe from Polnar came to visit the Baal Shem Tov because he had heard that he was so incredibly knowledgeable and he was such a tzaddik, etc. And he wanted to go and meet him and speak to him. So when he came to the Baal Shem Tov, the Baal Shem Tov carried on a conversation with him about smoking and the rings of smoke, the rings when you smoke and whatever else. The Rebbe from Polna was like, well, what is going on here? He was very upset. And he said, I'm not even going to stay in Daven Mariv here. I have to leave. This is crazy. I'm out of here. And then he decided, I'm going to stay for Mariv. So he went to Daven Mariv and he felt the energy of the Baal Shem Tov. And he said, I have never had a tefillah like this before. And then he understood that energy is so powerful. It's not just about knowledge. It's way beyond that. It's about energy as well. So I felt that that was such a redeeming thought for us who work with energy and the energy of crystals and are sensitive to other people. I thought that that was very, very meaningful. I felt that so meaningful. Okay.
Gila, one of the things I bought recently, a pendant, which is moss agate, and one of the things we didn't learn about in module 1.
Uh-huh.
I bought it because I liked it, but I don't know what it was. What is there anything I should know about that?
It's actually good for dampness, Sylvia.
Dampness.
It's good for, it has other benefits as well, but that's like um, something very interesting about this stone. Okay. It's also good when people have temperature, like as in fever, you call it. Um, and it is good to strengthen positive, positive personality traits, and it's nice for self-esteem. Okay, so it's a great stone. Enjoy it.
Gila, it
Yes,
was
you
an
did.
amazing class. You had this. I am curious. We were talking about the breathing, and so many people are suffering from respiratory issues now, right? Like with the colds and coughs. Which stones that you shared, and maybe others would be good.
So for difficulty with breathing, I recommend the rhodochrosite and the rhodonite. Okay, they are specifically good for that. And there's a stone called tactite. It's actually not a stone, it's a meteor, tactite, and it absorbs, like if people have fever and stuff like that, it's good to absorb that sort of illness and so on.
Mhm.
Okay,
I have one more question about the beautiful Navi stone. What is that in English? Because I've seen
seer,
crystal quartz.
seer, S-E-E-R,
Yeah.
it's a seer stone.
Oh, I
Quartz
was looking for it because I'd never seen it.
Yeah, so there are a few there's the smoky quartz and the rose quartz. They have also seer stones and amethyst as well. There are a number of them. I keep on seeing more and more in the stone shops. But yeah, they're amazing.
Beautiful. Thank
Yeah. Okay. I mentioned to you that I'm traveling, please God. I'm going to be in the States. So one of the things that I like to do is to give special offers when I'm traveling. So I want to share that with you. Well, here we are. And here we go. Is this it? No, this is it. Okay, so what I've done is I have a package on my website. I have different packages, but when I'm in the States, it's very often people want to come and see me, and with the greatest of pleasure, I'm going to be in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. I'm going to be in Muncie. I'm actually going to be in Kingston in Pennsylvania. And I'm going to be in Florida as well. So you can welcome to reach out to me. And I do a very basic package. Somebody can come to me. I have my crystals with me. Choose the crystals because a person is attracted to the crystals that are good for them. Crystals actually have a meaning. We get to understand what's going on for somebody in a very deep and meaningful way. And then we treat them with the crystals. Okay. And you can get up to 10 crystals, especially for you. Now, this is like, it's a $300 package. However, okay, we're doing it for $200 when I'm $199, of course, when I'm in the States, please God. So if somebody wants to come to me in Israel, to my clinic in Israel as well, then this stands. Okay, and it will be, I'm more than happy to make it valid right through the month of November. Okay, for in-person assessments for $199, and that includes 10 crystals. So if you're interested, I tried to work out a way that you could get in touch with me in advance. So here you can scan with your phone right now the QR code if you'd like, or you could just go onto my website and enter a contact. That's all. There's a contact sheet there, or I'll show you, or send me an email, info@Gila Slonim, or reply to any of the emails that you've received from me. Say, Gila, I'm interested, and then we could work something out. And if you're wondering how to do it, okay, this is from the phone. You go to the gilaslonim.com, those 3 lines there, click on them, click on the contact us, and then fill it in and just send it off, and I'll be in touch with you. So it's very, very simple. Okay, and that's it. Okay, here are all my contact info, and I'm sure if you're here today, you all have my contacts, and you can just send me a follow-up email, say, Gila, I'd be interested, and I'll be happy to reach out to you. Okay, Shani, you have a question.
I do. I'd like to know when you talk about using these things for fever or for breathing, how do you how are we supposed to use them? I mean, you said something about holding it up to your chest when breathing. Was that the was I understanding that correctly as far as the rhodochrosite or the turquoise?
No, the rhodochrosite, you can use the turquoise as well. The rhodochrosite and the rhodonite at the chest for sure. And I can attest to it. I want to, there's one stage that I was using the rhodochrosite and the rhodonite, and I was in love with the rhodochrosite. I could see nothing more beautiful than the rhodochrosite, okay? And today it doesn't talk to me, which is really interesting. And I had my asthma was playing up. And of course, when I shower at night, I remove my stones. And every time I would start wheezing. And I didn't understand why until I realized I've taken the stones out. It like blew me away. And my husband found that also like so fascinating that they were so effective. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, they're terrific. And the Tactite goes anywhere, but you could give it to somebody to hold in their hand. It's worth trying.
So if they have a fever or something, then you just let them hold it in their hand.
Exactly. Exactly.
These other ones is like you wear it in your bra or something for if you wanted to for the breathing.
Yep. Exactly.
Seder, thank you.
Okay. But the turquoise and the breathing, it's like it's not a physical breathing thing as much as I can't breathe because I'm anxious and because things are weighing me down. Okay. Sometimes we can't breathe because there are physiological issues, and that's the rhodochrosite and the rhodonite are more beneficial for that. But try them all. They're beautiful. They've got so much to offer us, the crystals. Okay. Terrific. Thank you. Okay, any other questions, ladies? One second. So let me put a question here in the chat. Okay. I know that in New York, in Muncie, there's the Trove of Life. Okay, I'll actually be at the Trove of Life next week. I'm going to be doing 2 things there. I'm going to be doing one's a presentation on Sunday morning, and then on Monday, I'll be there as well at midday, just in the shop. People want to buy things, want to ask questions. That's where I met Gitty. That's where we met. Maybe we'll meet up again there.
Yes,
Okay. Anyway, so I will be in different places, please God. So
Where did you say you'll be in the States?
I'm going to be in New York in Crown Heights.
Okay.
I'm going to be in Muncie.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be in Kingston in Pennsylvania, please God.
Mm.
That's a new place, but I think that there are a lot of people there and they want to hear about the stones. And it was like, okay, it's a bit far, but it's also a shlichut. It's really sharing and bringing something very important to people all over. I really want to be able to do that. And Bezrat Hashem in Florida as well.
What's your dates?
I'll put it in an email. I'm going to send it
Yeah.
afterwards if people want things. Are you going to be in Florida by some chance, Yudis?
I'm going to Florida, but I think it's going to be in December. But I have
Ah.
I have 2 daughters in Florida and one daughter that lives near Kingston.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I think yeah.
Okay, we'll speak offline. That sounds good. It's always good to speak
Okay.
to you. All right. So have a wonderful day,
Thank you.
evening, Chodesh Tov Umvorach. Calm, please God, ladies. Breathe deeply. Take your stones, enjoy them, and know that they're a gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us. So let's enjoy them, okay?
Remain safe,